My name is LaQuina Balzer, and I would first like to read to you the First Amendment right, which restricts the government from interfering with freedom of speech, the free exercise of religion, the right to associate with each other, the right to privacy, the freedom to assemble, the right to petition the government for redress or grievance, and further guarantees the separation of church and state. My controversial issue is on prayer in schools. This is a touchy issue, and it seems that both sides of the argument are passionate about their stance. This discussion can often become an argument, but I want to start by saying that prayer in school was removed in 1962. Prayer acknowledges the existence of someone greater than man. There has been many legal challenges about whether to exclude or include prayer in schools. Nowadays, people have or school system have a quiet moment after the announcements where children are allowed to pray or to think or to take their time with their own thoughts. We can't distinguish or if it is praying or not, but it is something that is offered in schools, and that is in some schools. Not all schools do that. Um, it is important that the administrators, teachers, parents, and students understand their constitutional right in the matter of prayer in school. Both sides need to understand that prayer has not been banned. Teachers just can't initiate it. So, teachers are often thinking, I'm guessing, that prayer is something that they can't allow their children to gather together and do, but actually, children can go to the side of the playground and have prayer. Meg Butler, she wrote an article called Prayer in Schools, Benefits from Both Sides, and she thinks that you should teach children to be proactive in their prayer life. That's if they have one. You should teach initiative so that children could start clubs in school and pick times to meet for prayer, such as on the playground or at the cafeteria. Larry Fortham, a professor of human development at the University of Florida, he shifts his focus to the family. He thinks that prayer begins at home. He thinks that if children have a solid prayer life, it wouldn't matter where they were at, whether it be in school, on the playground, in the cafeteria, in the gym, that they're going to pray regardless. They don't need someone to tell them that they are not allowed to pray. Praying is something that children should learn from home, and it's something that they should practice at home. And if by chance they want to take some time to do it at school, then so be it. Eric Horan was a full-time minister. His primary purpose of education is to shape good citizens, or he thinks that the primary purpose of education is to shape good citizens, and he thinks that's done through prayer or through your religion. He wrote that since prayer was eliminated, that the quality of education has shown a steady statistical decline. Is there a link between the two? I'm not sure. Halvin believes that there is increase in violent crime since removal of prayer. Divorce rate has tripled. Birth to single mothers have increased. Teenage suicide rate has tripled, and SAT scores have dropped. Horrid also believes that removing prayer may not be the problem, but negative trends are symptoms of the spiritual decline. So I guess what he's saying here, that if you don't have some kind of spiritual relationship with someone outside of yourself, then you would decline as a person, decline as a citizen. And if you do have a spiritual relationship, or if you do pray or have this religious belief, then you will excel as a person and be able to do better. He also believes we are sending a hypocritical message when we allow laws to be passed which limit free expression of speech in public by banning public prayer. But I guess what he has to understand, that public prayer really isn't banned. You can pray anytime you want to. You don't have to pray out loud. You can pray to yourself. Children practice prayer at home. They can pray before a test and nobody even know. I have a daughter who prays before she plays basketball. Um, do we ban public prayer? I don't know. It is really banned. Is it really banned? I like the Butler's idea and Meg Butler's idea and Larry Fortham's idea. I think we just need to decide to let our children make a decision on their own if they want to pray in school. I think that if they do want to pray in school, they should be proactive about it, and they should also take initiative and do it on their own. Do it with their friends. Do it on their own time, because that is a part of our First Amendment. Um, I read a lot about prayer in schools, and there were a lot of court cases. There was even a little girl that wrote a story about her grandfather in Vietnam, and there was this controversial issue about if she was talking about prayer. A lot of people were touched by the paper that she wrote, and a lot of things were done to try to tell or have everybody to understand that, it wasn't her pushing her religion on someone, but it was her just expressing herself and her experience. I think that everybody should be allowed to express themselves, and there's a whole lot of people that I was reading articles um, about, and who wrote articles, and I think everybody is a little wavery, but they do have a strong side and a weak side. Religion is a hard thing to have a conversation about, and I don't think a lot of people like to have the conversation because nobody wants to be right or wrong. But is there really a right or wrong answer? Do children really know if they want to pray or not? Do they really understand religion? I guess that's a question we need to ask themselves. And as I was reading, that was something that everyone was saying, kind of let the children have their own decision and build or proceed in their own way or manner and have their own decision to pray. And if they are going to pray, then it needs to be something that they initiate, and it needs to be something they're proactive at. But we do need to continue to remember our First Amendment right, which is um, the government is not going to interfere with the freedom of speech, the freedom to exercise of religion, the right to associate with each other, the right to privacy, the freedom to assemble, the right to petition the government for redress or grievance, and further guarantees the separation of church and state. Thank you.